cards against Aristocrats. Takes him a little while to get a non-human onto the field.
And so we see the Noble come across for 1. Going to be able to put Josh down to 19. Counter goes on. And we'll see if Jeremy has a follow-up here. Ooh, he doesn't look like he has a second land, maybe.
Look at me, I nailed it. Between 1 and 3 mountains, 4 and 6 spells. Ding.
Silverblade Paladin in the draw here. Pretty awkward with the double Blood Crypt draw.
Yeah, we have, it looks like no whites. Yeah, we got nothing.
He has no white source mana. He does have a Skirt Stack High Priest in his hand, but I don't know if that's worth paying 2 life for, especially when it can't block right away.
Right. I don't think you pay 2 life. In fact, I would be entertaining the option of, conceding this game early after like a couple more turns, just to get my opponent thinking I'm on like Black Red or Jund or something. Probably Jund is like the easiest read to trick him into.
Sure.
Maybe get him sideboarding wrong. It doesn't seem very likely that we're going to be able to win this game. Josh is going to fight for it.
Yeah, he's going to take 2. He's going to play a Skirt Stack High Priest. He's going to pass the turn back. So that's not a full giveaway of what deck he is, because the Aristocrats only plays 2 of that card, as we do see the Cackler and the Noble come across, but it can definitely get the gears turning for Jeremy about what deck Josh is playing.
I would expect Jeremy to be able to figure it out at this point. Wow, I mean, he hit his land and Jeremy missed his, so that's actually a pretty big game. Josh might be able to make something happen here. Now the Cavern can't cast Orzhov Charm, which I'm pretty sure he's going to want to turn on real soon at some point to let him kill a guy and trigger more of it. Oh, he's announcing you pass turn before the counter, so you don't get the counter or something like that.
Looks like they're just trying to get the damage exactly where it's supposed to be. Okay.
Are they? I see.
You want to make sure the light totals are correct.
One far too far or something like that. But now, I mean, we're still in actually pretty bad shape. I think we have to just like play maybe Champion of the Parish instead of Cartel Aristocrat. That sounds gross, though, right? But like, I think we're gonna hope to draw, Isolated Chapel or something like that, and be able to play 2 spells next turn.
There's your counter, Souls. Likely gonna be naming Human.
That's a good read.
Thank you. That's why they hired me.
That's why I get the big bucks.
So now Josh's options here are Doomed Traveler and Cartel Aristocrat, it looks like. And it looks like he is going to settle up.
I like the Doom Traveler here. Lets you get 2 blocks, since you get to block the Cackler, and then the Spirit can block the Noble, plus with the Orzhov Charm, eventually maybe getting you an additional variation on that particular sequence.
You see Josh come across for 1 with the High Priest, not going to do him anything else. Jeremy's going to draw a card. Jeremy misses again, draws a Vexing Devil for the turn.
Oh, well, at least he has a spell this time.
That's true. And here he comes. Now, it's interesting here, Glenn, if he does want a chump block or not. The main reason I say that is because he does have the Aristocrat in his hand. And so he can take the 4, go down to 9, or take the 5, go down to 8, and then the next turn play the Aristocrat, sacrifice the Doom Traveler, make a Demon token.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good line. I honestly hadn't thought about that one.
And so now we see Vexing Devil. Now, this is where things get a little bit more problematic here, because Josh is at 8, and does he want to go down to 4? That's a tough thing to do.
I actually think you just let it ride. Sure, you got a 4/3. He's about to make a 2/2 that he's planning to A, give pro red, and B, also use to get a 5/5 next turn. So it's one of the less impressive Vexing Devils I've ever seen.
Sure. So what to do? Got to use that life total as a resource here if you're Josh Wiitanen.
Yeah, I say you let it resolve. You stick your Aristocrat in an ideal world. You draw Isolated Chapel, and you also get access to Orzhov Charm. So,
in a perfect world, that's what will occur. What if it's a Godless Shrine?
Take 2, whatever.
Here's the draw. It is.
Man, Cartel Aristocrat's not the worst.
Yep.
I mean, any castable spell for Josh is a pretty good draw when you're on 5 cards against your mana-screwed opponent. Unfortunately, it is all too common that Screw tends to beat Flood, and it's even more so when the Flooded player has a mulligan.
Yes. So Cartel Aristocrat does join the party. Josh is going to pass the turn back, and we're going to see if Jeremy knows exactly what Josh can do this turn as far as interactions are concerned. Jeremy finally draws a land. He draws a mountain. And you see him tapping mana right away, and Volcanic Strength.
Oh no, we've been punished for our Vexing Devil's resolution. All right, the worst Vexing Devil I've ever seen just rapidly became one of the best Vexing Devils I've ever seen.
Yeah. He can hear you.
Quick shift.
So now you see Jeremy asking, basically waiting, is this okay? So here comes the Noble and the Vexing Devil. And so Josh can snipe the Noble and get it dead.
Yeah, just eat that guy. I think Jeremy might have missed the interaction. Doesn't really realize that a 5/5 demon is on its way.
Yep, so sack here. I'm gonna get a spirit token.
It looks pretty spirited.
I'm gonna make a guy.
We'll get our judges to get on the tokens. I don't know if we have a demon in there though, to be honest.
Tisk.
I don't stock it. I don't know.
Now, whoever's on stocking the tokens.
We've got a nod from the director. Demon present.
Lucky. You gotta be ready for the aristocrats. So Demon's gonna be able to snipe off that Stormcrook Noble, but it's gonna put Josh at 2, and it's going to force him to draw either a Plains or an Isolated Chapel.
Well, at this point, is there anything he can draw to beat a 6/5 mountain walking Vexing Devil? Like, he can't Orzhov Charm it, he'll just die. So he may just be straight up dead on board, right?
That's a frown town.
Or dead, no outs. I see nothing. I guess Tragic Slip? No, I'm sorry. We have the one Tragic Slip. Yep. We're on a one-outer. We're live. I should have known. Sam would never let you be not live in this situation.
That's true.
Always wants to have one somewhere in the deck.
So now, the Demon token. Aha! Whoever told you we had Demon token lied to you.
Oh. Director Choi.
Shame.
Dropping the ball.
So Noble bites the dust. Josh is going to move down to 2, and it's Tragic Slipper bust now, it looks like. Untap, draw.
Be there.
Josh, one-time dealer, draws.
Not even for me.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah. I mean, it was black, so, kind of close.
Now Josh is doing math, trying to figure out if there's any way I can potentially kill him, and there's not, and he's going to concede the game. So
Jared more than 2?
Jared Perkowski up a game with mono red, stuck on one land for a while there. Josh almost able to stabilize and start taking that game over, but Volcanic Strength, too good.
Too good is a strong term. I think good enough is probably significantly more
simply
accurate.
Too powerful. Now I know that you do have the Aristocrat deck list in front of you before Josh. He is going to be playing first this game. What's he got in the sideboard?
Well, he's got Blasphemous Axe, which I actually think are pretty fine against the mono red deck, especially if when it lets you, allow Vexing Devils to resolve if you've got stuff holding them off.
That's true.
He also has access to additional Tragic Slips to perhaps increase his outs in the future. I imagine he'll have to bring them in now that he's seen those Volcanic Strengths, knows that he needs these removal spells that can actually kill a creature once it's enchanted. In addition, he could go with Obzat Ghost Council. It's a little unconventional, but it's a fatty that gains life, so it can avoid giving Jeremy the opportunity to peel on him. Okay. They get to a stalemated situation, but Jeremy's at a higher life total. Over the course of 3 turns, Obzat can make sure that Josh doesn't get top decked on, whereas otherwise he just has to cross his fingers and hope the Brimstone Volley is never there. But it's always there. It's always there. Beyond that, I think the interesting cards are like maybe additional Sorin, Lingering Souls, probably for sure coming in on Lingering Souls. And Duress is kind of a weird one. I think if he knew that Jeremy was white-red with the Boros Charms and Volcanic Strengths and Brimstone Volleys, and Searing Spears, then he might consider the Duresses, but I'm not a big fan of them. So.
And taking a look at what Jeremy's got here as far as things against the Aristocrats, he has Blasphemous Act of his own, but I don't think he's going to want to bring those in here.
Seem very good.
A couple copies of Mizium Mortars, which are okay, but nothing spectacular. Bonfire of the Damned can actually be pretty good here.
Yeah.
4 copies of Skullcrack, 3 copies of Grafdigger's Cage, and 2 copies of Zealous Conscripts. Nothing jumps out at you here as cards that are really very good against the Aristocrats. Unsurprising, because I can't think of a card in a sideboard that just says, "Hey, Aristocrats, I'm here to beat you."
If you look at his main deck, also though, like what card's really bad against the Aristocrats?
That's true.
I'm not sure what he would want to side out.
Bonfire is the one card that, to me, I mean, Volcanic Strength is actually good here, so I don't know if he wants to sideboard those out, but Bonfire is one of the cards here that I think can actually turn a game around.
Yeah.
I don't love it in mono-red strategies or decks without Farseek or ways to accelerate, but this is one of the few cards I think that can actually turn things around for him dramatically. in a certain situation.
I might be interested in cutting down on my cacklers, especially when I'm on the draw.
Okay.
When you're facing off against Champion of the Paris, Doom Traveler, and Cartel Aristocrat, the 2/2 that never gets to block is not looking that great.
Yeah.
So I might look to trim those at least on the draw, and that's probably a reasonable spot to get in for Bonfire. I don't think he wants anything else. The Skullcrack's not going to do anything. Mortars is a pretty inefficient spell against Aristocrats, especially when the deck has multiple ways to actually ensure a creature doesn't die. So that's probably where I would head with it.
All right, well, we do see both players finishing up their sideboarding here. Figure out what they're going to do. I mean, I can't really tell if this is a matchup that favors the Aristocrats or mono red. I mean, ideally, when Sam was building this deck, I'm sure that the first thing that came to the top of their mind was, hey, these Saito decks and these Flint board decks that are being tweeted, we got to be able to beat those for the Pro Tour. So ideally, they're pretty good against mono red strategies and red-based aggressive decks. So you would think that they're pretty good against this deck. You know, Mulligan to 5 can be ignored. That's magic. It happens. But you know, how good are they against these mono red strategies? That's a big question.
Yeah, I think they seem okay actually. The more I think about it, what's interesting is, you know, which direction is Josh going to take it? Because you can be a pretty aggressive deck yourself. You know, lean heavily on your humans theme. That's exactly what Tom did against Melissa in the top 8 of the Pro Tour. You know, he switched his deck to be much more aggressive than it was before. But the deck can also sit back, play a little bit of a control game. Against mono red, it can be really tempting to. we got a heart from Josh.
Yeah.
It can be tempting to just automatically go the control route, but if you can actually block and attack at the same time, then you're going to do pretty well against mono red. That's one of the reasons Geist decks have always been so good against red decks. Like, they just can't beat a Geist. They just get attacked to death so easily, and they can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
Boros Reckoner, very similar problem. You know, that's a card that as soon as you play it, like, throws the brakes on them and also lets you shift into the role of the aggressor.
Sure. So we do see both players shuffling up here for game number 2. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Clinton Jones here in the booth. Star City Games Open Series here in beautiful Las Vegas. Glenn and I had a wonderful dinner yesterday.
We did have a wonderful dinner at Lotus of Siam.
Yes.
With Dave Williams as our food guide. Well, I had Dave Williams as my food guide. You were at a different table.
I had Eric Froelich as my food guy.
Okay.
And if you've seen Eric and Dave, Eric is bigger, so I think my food guy is better, personally.
I don't know. All I remember is that we had some awesome catfish on the table, and you looked over and said, "What's that?" So...
Well, I ate so much that my entire body hurt, so I think that I did pretty good last night. And Dave, nice enough to use his celebrity status to keep open an ice cream store past close for us yesterday.
That was a little impressive, you know. I mean, that's not a lot of weight to throw, but that's okay.
Hey,
you know?
hey, it was insane.
I know. I don't think I've seen weight thrown in such a fashion before.
What was it? Sweet Temptation? What was
Sweet
it?
Addiction.
Sweet Addiction.
Sweet Addiction. You can actually find them on Twitter. I think it's like Sweet Addict LV.
Yes.
I think that's their Twitter handle. I only know this because Dave celebrated it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I believe that's it. So, and delicious, yeah, they just make cookie sandwiches. Just ice cream between 2 cookies. Warm cookies, essential.
Yes, key.
Yeah,
key.
I'm pretty sure it's at about like 80% worse if they're not warm, probably.
Yeah. So we do see Josh taking another mulligan here while Jeremy's going to keep. Good guy that I am, I'm sure I'll tweet out that picture of the ice cream sandwich that I got. Birthday cake ice cream.
What a generous spirit.
Yeah, with 2 different cookies. I'm only tweeting it so I can think about eating it again later this weekend.
Oh man, it was a ride, but it was worth it. Incidentally, I'm pretty sure birthday cake was the correct call, having gotten birthday cake myself. I can't imagine anything that would have been better, so it was probably correct.
Oh, just because you got it right. That's why it was correct.
No, it just tasted insane.
Yeah.
Like, what could have been better than that? Nothing. All right. It was funny, actually, we ordered 2 soups at our table because I'm a wimp when it comes to spices. And Dave said the soup would be like way too spicy on the level that they get it, so you know, they got me a more mild soup. And as I'm eating my soup, I'm like, geez, this soup is pretty spicy. If this is like the light one, I can't imagine what that thing's like. Like, it was, you know, all verging on uncomfortable. It turns out I was just eating the wrong soup.
There were multiple times. I'll just say this. I had to ask the waiter for multiple napkins and lots of glasses of water last night, but it was worth every bite, the pain that I went through. As Josh, the look on Josh's face right now is that was the look on my face while I was eating dinner yesterday. It hurt, but it was good. But I don't think for Josh this is very good.
Well, he has lands of each color.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we do see a Godless Shrine and a Champion of the Parish, so maybe a bluff?
Maybe he was thinking about how he wants to play this hand. Does he want to tap land on turn 1 or not? Like, how does that affect his sequencing? Does he want to try and be aggressive? I think Champion Knight of Infamy, so it's possible he's thinking, all right, I'm just going to try and kill this guy. I think he has a Boros Reckoner too, which is, you know, the nut curve out.
And now we are going to see a Stromkirk Noble. So both players have their best one-drops available. Josh going to take a draw step here. Finds a Sacred Foundry. We do see a Cartel Aristocrat in his hand as well.
And Reckoner and Knight of
And
Infamy.
Knight of Infamy. Okay, so his draw is perfectly reasonable.
Yep.
And he can take that aggressive approach that you did bring up during the sideboard.
And the question here is, do you take Knight and get in 3, or do you go for the Aristocrat? I actually don't know. Like, I assume it's just like an automatic decision once you've played like 5 games with the deck, but obviously I'm not in that camp.
Sure.
Josh, he's definitely got 5 games in, so he's going to go with Knight of Infamy.
Yes.
I'll trust him.
And so he does move down to 16 to be able to do that, and you're going to see Knight come across. Exalted Trigger is going to happen, and Jeremy's going to move down to 17. And let's see what Jeremy can do outside of obviously making his Stromkirk Noble a little bit larger. Does he have a Volcanic Strength to really up things here?
Yeah.
He does not, so Noble's going to come across. Going to put Josh down to 15. Noble going to move up to a 2-2. And we'll see what Jeremy has for the second main phase.
Interestingly, because he's on the play, Josh will be able to get a Boros Reckoner down before Noble can trade with it.
Yep.
Which is, you know, a pretty big deal.
So now we see a Vexing Devil here from Jeremy.
I'd be pretty tempted to let it land once again. I feel like our hand's very good, and we can actually outlast that card with Reckoner. We might have to, you know, bust one of our creatures under Aristocrat maybe to do it. Like,
it's a little bit scary every time that card's on the stack. There's always a decision-making process that you have to go through, and we know in Josh's hand as well that he does have another Ravnica Duel in his hand. So in order to cast that Boros Reckoner, he's going to have to take some damage.
like, if I'm Josh, my ideal turn is actually probably tap the Duel and play the Aristocrat. Like, not take the 2. I think. Like, I'm okay with that sacrifice.
Yep.
I think also taking the 4 here is interesting because, you know, you have to do it without knowing whether your opponent has a 1-drop or not.
Yep.
Which, very real danger.
So now he's going to go with the Rakdos Cackler, and it looks like he is not going to unleash that, which is a little bit of a surprise here.
So he's decided to shift tempo a little bit. I think that's fine. We drew an Orzhov Charm, which is probably better than Cartel Aristocrat. Just play it, kill that Noble. I assume that our opponent is planning to block if we attack. Like, why else would he have, you know, not unleashed his guys? So
yeah.
I would just jam both guys, offer the trade with Knight, I think.
And take care of that Noble and go down to 9, and then play your dual land tapped and move along.
That seems fine.
Let's see if he's going to take a different route. I mean, the more clear-cut route is just untap Sacred Foundry in with Boros Reckoner.
Right. He's going to play it. He's going to play Aristocrat
First, okay.
Interesting.
So that's going to make that bigger.
I guess he's just going to let him chump block then? That's his plan?
And now he's going to come across here.
Like, yeah, snap chump.
Okay. So he's okay with taking another hit here from the Noble.
See, the problem is here, if we draw a land, we're in a good spot, but if we don't, we're in a really awkward one. Because we'll just have to, like, turn our Boros Reckoner into a Searing Blaze, basically.
Yeah. So now you see a Vexing Devil, and what Josh
resolves.
doesn't know, Glenn, is that, Jeremy has 2 more Vexing Devils in his hand.
I think the second one we might want to sack. For the first one we very easily allow. Okay, he's going to go ahead and let them both. That's fine. I think it's close.
Josh is going to take a draw step. Draws Doom Traveler.
It is a good card, but we're just slamming Reckoner this turn.
Yeah, that's definitely where this turn begins.
I'm actually, you know, we've had some interesting attacks. We can attack and see if he wants to double block and trade off a Vexing Devil, which would probably be very good for us. But if we make that attack, I would attack with someone else first.
Here's your Doom Traveler. And that's going to bring that guy up to a 4/4.
Yeah, this plays very nice. Exactly. He's going to make this attack, see if Jeremy wants to trade 2 Vexing Devils for Champion. And if he does, he's going to Orzhov Charm one of them. And if he doesn't, then he's going to probably Orzhov Charm Stromkirk Noble, or maybe even his own Doom Traveler.
Sure.
After blocking, just get it back. He can make a Spirit to chump the Noble for the turn, which is nice, because we do not want that guy turning into a 4/4.
Yeah, that's the last thing that you do.
Yeah. At a minimum, we're charming it, or a devil, or something. Josh doing some math. Volcanic Strength, that's not going to resolve. I had a feeling.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
That was the card, if you're Josh, you have to be scared of.
Right. The charm is definitely backing him. And you know, And now it just looks like a perfectly played set of turns. You know, he's like, oh yeah, of course I have the charm on the one turn where I need it. It's the only turn I didn't tap out, and it's the turn I needed.
Yeah. Magic is easy. At least he's trying to make it look easy.
So now we will have to sack our Doom Traveler, assuming Jeremy attacks, which if I were Jeremy, I would do that.
Hard not to.
Yeah. He probably shouldn't ship with the Vexing Devil, though, because that just offers Josh the decision of whether or not he wants to trade Knight of Infamy for Vexing Devil, basically.
So Josh is going to sacrifice that Doom Traveler. He's going to give himself a 1/1 Spirit Token, give that guy protection from red. Spirit Token is going to jump in front of the Noble, and he's going to keep his life at 6. And we, of course, know that last card in Josh's hand is a Boros Reckoner. So Josh is going to take a draw step here. He draws another Cartel Aristocrat, and I think you just got to keep pressing on with that Champion of the Parish.
Yeah, Champion's big enough to just keep on attacking at this point. I'm just playing the Reckoner. What's the worst that could happen? Volcanic Strength. Actually, that's the worst that could happen.
That is actually, that's the worst one.
What else could happen?
And we know that Jeremy does have 3 copies in his deck.
I actually think I
Two
just
left.
saw one in his hand.
No.
I think I did. Yeah.
Really?
I think I did. I don't want to swear to it, but you know. I admit that of the cards in Jeremy's deck, Volcanic Strength is not the one that I've trained my eye to pick out of a crowd. But
Ash Zealot.
Ash Zealot? I can't say that
Ash Zealot, Brimstone
Okay.
Volley, Vexing Devil.
Oh,
Wrong.
woo.
Wrong.
I feel better now. It is
You
the
can't get
Brimstone
you
Volley.
can't get a card's artwork by me if you tried.
Whoa.
Can't be done.
Aggressive. He blocks the Vexing Devil. Interesting.
All right. And there's your Boros Reckoner.
Yep.
Now, if he top decks a Volcanic Strength, I'll know about it. That's not
That's
it.
a land.
That's
flipped
not
up
it. That's not one.
It's flavor check. Well, Josh has basically stabilized this board. The only thing he can die to is the Brimstone Volley. Oh, it always gets you.
It does. It really does.
Every time I lose them on a red, it's their last card in hand is just a Brimstone.
And you're always hoping
Every
it's
time.
not, and
I'm
it
always
always
hoping
is.
it's not, and it always is. On the upside, he is at 6 life. Very key different from 5 life in that it's not 5. That's the biggest
Yes,
difference.
again. Now, if you guys are listening at home, 5 is different than 6. For those of you who are not aware, 5 still different than 6.
I like to break it down for the people.
I mean, if you're Jeremy, all joking aside, I mean, you definitely got some decision to make here.
Yeah.
He's at 12. Things are getting worse. Reckoner is here now. You know, he's got cards that he can play with. This is going to come across here.
If he attacks, he's like dead.
Yeah, block.
Block. Like,
So that's going to die. And
I'm a
gonna deal
Minotaur wizard. Get out of here.
And I'm going to deal. Yeah, that's dead. And I'm going to deal 3 to you.
9, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aristocrat in the hand is 9. That's
That
it,
is
unless
9.
Jeremy uses that Brimstone Volley on one of Josh's creatures.
Or if he just chooses to play Vexing Devil and Ash Zealot. So there's your Ash Zealot.
Just play his guys. This plan doesn't seem to be going anywhere, though, because what can he draw now? Like, there isn't
Yeah.
a spell that deals 6. Josh is just going to be like, yeah, you got a bunch of dudes. Anything else? No? All
Well,
right.
the thing is that by letting that Vexing Devil resolve, the thing that makes this a little bit difficult is you're going to see Champion of the Parish here, is that Volcanic Strength is still an out now. Because Volcanic Strength
true.
on the Vexing Devil will end it.
If he doesn't have to bust if he busts the wrong guy, that's fair.
Yep.
Yep.
So we got a 6/6 Champion of the Parish. And he can attack for a bunch here, but Vexing Devil standing tall as a 4/3.
Get out of here.
Yep.
7. What you got?
Is he willing to take it?
If he takes it, then he's putting himself to his draw step as Cartel Aristocrat will just straight up kill him next turn.
Yeah.
But he's already to his draw step, so that seems fine.
Yeah. It looks like he is going to go down to 2. Looks like no blocks have been declared. And now it is the ultimate sweat. We got a 2-outer, folks.
That's a Sacred Foundry.
That is.
It's probably not going to do the trick. Well, I guess we attack.
Can't not attack.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I have this feeling that Josh is going to block. I have a feeling.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, Josh is probably going to block the damage that might kill him.
Aristocrat here. And
Knight here.
Knight there.
Before first strike. I'm going to lose this guy to make this guy pro-red.
Yep. That guy's going to bite the dust. I'm not going to take any damage. And You can get me to 1, but 1 is not none. And Jeremy shows him Brimstone Volley and concedes the game. Something that may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but it is.
Brimstone Volley is not in every red deck.
Yes.
That is a big card to know.
Yes.
If you know your opponent doesn't have Brimstone Volley, then 5 seems like a very safe life total.
Yes.
If you know your opponent does, 5 seems like the worst of all life totals.
Yes. And I'm sure it will change the way that Josh plays this third game.
Yes.
Having that information now and thinking to himself, it is a good thing that I was not at 5, or I would be dead. It is a very good thing. So Josh Wiitanen does tie this matchup up 1-1 with the Aristocrats versus Mono Red by Jeremy, and we are going to go to a third one.
That was a pretty impressive game from the Aristocrats, to be honest. You know, Jeremy had a fine draw, a lot of pressure, but Josh outpaced him very quickly.
Yeah.
Really, he was just, risking death to the volcanic strengths. In sideboarding, he may be considering, shifting down gears now that he's on the draw, leaning on some of that removal a little heavier.
So let's see exactly how this is going to go. Again, I think this matchup might just be die roll dependent, honestly.
It may be. I don't know. The Aristocrats deck definitely has a lot more play to it, and it can, it can convert spell-light hands way better than the red deck does, I think.
Yeah.
Which has always been my issue with modern era red decks. Those hands where you just draw like 3 spells or 4 spells, and like, whatever. Like, I died.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Nothing I did was important or relevant enough.
I just lost.
Yeah, every card's designed to get, somewhere between like 3 and 6 damage in, ideally. And if you just get 3 with all of them, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's not exactly ideal. I would agree with that. Well, what can you do, right? I mean, it's definitely up to Jeremy here. He's got to have an aggressive draw. He's got to start off with, a strong Kirk Noble or a Rakdos Cackler and really just start giving the beatdowns right away. There's just nothing else to say. It's got to start early. It's got to start often here.
Same token, I'm sure Josh is hoping to keep 7 cards and not play a Shockland on turns 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Absolutely. So game 3, we are about to be underway here. Jeremy going to take a look at his opening 7. If you guys are just joining us, SCG Live here in Las Vegas. You guys can join the conversation with us on Twitter at SCG Live, hashtag SCGVEGAS, as we do see Jeremy actually taking a mulligan for once.
Change of pace.
Tweet with Glenn and I if you'd like to. Glenn at Secluded Glenn. I know he loves a Twitter.
I do love the Twitters.
Me at Cedric A. Phillips. I'm fine with the Twitters. I'm a fan of the Twitters.
I should tweet more, honestly. I feel guilty that I don't. I do so many things. Like your food pics, I'm so lazy. I can't take pictures of my food. I'm just hungry.
It's something I'm starting to do now.
Yep. All right.
Beforehand, I'll tell you what happened. There's a reason I started doing this.
Okay.
So, little personal information. I went out on a date a couple weeks ago.
Cedric Phillips.
Yes, I did.
You dapper did.
I tell you what. And while I was on this date, I told the person I was out with, I was like, I do a lot of traveling for a living, do all this commentary stuff. She's like, that sounds really awesome. Show me some pictures of where you've been. And I couldn't. I could not do that because I've been all over the United States, been to Europe like 5 times, Japan once. I have no pictures of any of it.
Yep.
So I've decided that's embarrassing. That I have no pictures of all these great places I've gone to. So then I'm just a picture psychopath. I just take pictures of everything always. And I'm taking pictures of all the insane food I eat, all the places I go, the airports I'm in, so I can actually remember the things that I've done with my life 20 years from now.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
I know. I think you should do the same though. As we do see Jeremy keep 6 cards. He has a strong Kirk Noble. It's a good start. What's Josh got? Josh has a Godless Shrine, passes the turn back.
Looks like another Shockland heavy hand for Josh. I know he has Knight of Infamy. I'm not sure what else he's got rolling.
What he's got is a Noble coming at him. That's what he's got.
All right, 19. What's up?
Yep. Take it right on the chin. Here comes a mountain. And here comes...
I see Lingering Souls, I think. 2 Knight of Infamies and a Cartel Aristocrat. Yep, that's Josh's hand.
Hey, good eye, Sniper.
Zing!
You shoot, I'll run. Rakdos Cackler, Vexing Devil.
Coheed and Cambria references?
I can do it all. I can actually do it all.
You are a Renaissance man, sir.
Champion of the Parish, the draw here for Josh.
I like that draw nice. It lets us play our Shockland tapped and just drop Champion. If Jeremy wants to waste some time and tempo eliminating it with a removal spell, that's cool. If not, we'll just grow it into a sweet creature.
Yeah. And there's your champion. We'll see if either of these lands are going to come untapped. You know, this is something that we've talked about many times when broadcasting these tournaments. Those Ravnica dual lands, they are not free.
Yeah.
As good as they are, those 2 life matter in matchups like this.
Yeah, about a year ago, everyone learned the value of 2 life when they printed Jataxian Pro.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that there aren't people operating under the auspices that 2 life is free, but I would also like them to not think that they're guild gates.
Yeah.
2 life's not free, but it's worth it sometimes.
Yeah, you got to find that healthy balance. As we do see Jeremy coming across for more damage. Sacred Foundry coming into play untapped.
I smell it right
that
now.
is, I think I do too, and there it is.
To be fair, Minotaurs stink from miles away.
Yeah.
So
Minotaur Wizard is here. Josh is going to draw Plains.
that land comes into play untapped without even dealing him a point
That
of
must be
damage.
nice. That's really got to be nice. But what can he do about a Reckoner? We have a Knight of Infamy.
That's pretty good against Reckoner.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not the best, but
It's something.
it is something.
He's going to have to find an Orzhov Charm or something to deal with that thing, right?
Yeah, the
Stat.
Aristocrats has a lot of cards that deal with Reckoner. One of the reasons the deck was good was it was like one of the better Reckoner decks, especially in the mirror, but he does not have any of those cards available to him right now, and he can't afford to start battling with Knight, which is its primary functionality against a Reckoner.
Josh is going to play a Goblet Shrine. He's just going to pass the turn back, it looks like. I mean, no sense in attacking, so.
I mean, if he's not going to block, is attacking with Champion so bad? Like, he'll take 3 damage and kill the Reckoner if he blocks, right?
I think that, if Champion's attacking there, Jeremy can't take 3 damage fast enough.
Yeah, I'm sure he takes 3 damage, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if the Champion doesn't block, then what's the point anyway? But Hellrider, zing.
That might change a few things.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see 4 triggers go in the stack here. Josh is going to go down to 7, and a lot of his blocks are not looking good right now. He can get in front of the 2/2 power guys. And actually, no, that Noble's a 3/3, so ignore that comment.
At this point, Josh has to block to try and draw Blasphemous Act if it's in his deck, but I guess it's not because he just extended his hand.
Yeah, he just scooped it up. I mean, you can basically, perfect mulligan for Jeremy that game. Starts with Noble, goes into Cackler, next turn Boros Reckoner into Hellrider, and that's part of the things that make the red deck so very good.
Yep.
That a draw just like that, followed with a burn spell or 2, is difficult for any deck to beat. It's the games where it doesn't do that, or when it's on the defensive is where it looks pretty poor. But when it's on the offensive like that, even if with 6 cards, it's a tough deck to beat.
Yeah, I know that there aren't a lot of decks that can beat draws like that. I think one of the reasons that Jund has become a popular choice, especially the Arbor Elf versions, is it gets some resiliency against those draws when you've got access to the more early mana excel, multiple removal spells.